Hey everybody, I'm Kevin, and today I'm going to be talking about why I bought the Springfield Hellcat Pro and why I bought it from where I bought it. Okay, so the place that I bought it from is called Kaufman's Outdoors. They're located in Daleville, Alabama, and I'm going to be coming back to that towards the end of the video because I think it's important, the reason that I bought it from there, and I'd just like to share that with you later. But first off, I want to talk about this Hellcat Pro from Springfield and explain why I bought it. Okay, so first off, purchased this gun for, I believe it was $6.99, and I got all sorts of awesome stuff with it. For one, I got a great carrying case that lets you hold up to, I think, 10 magazines in it, and just has a whole lot of space in there. But what else came with it? Well, for starters, in the gun itself, it came with this 17 round magazine, and if that wasn't enough, it also came with a flush fitting 15 round magazine, and came with an extra 1, 2, 3, an extra 3 17 round magazines. So that gives you a total of 5 magazines that came with the gun. So that's 1 flush fit 15 round magazine and 4 17 round magazines. That's incredible. For $6.99, it's pretty hard to beat. But I would like to go ahead and try my best to give you a close-up of the gun and just run through some of the reasons that I like it, and one of the reasons I think that you'll like it too. So let's see how this goes. But before we get started on that, I almost completely forgot. I should probably also explain why I am somebody that you should listen to. Okay? Now, there's a lot of gun tubers out there that have a lot of advice, whether it be good or bad. And, you know, they are professionals. They know the good stuff. They know what you need and why you need it. So what makes me different from them? Well, I am a novice. So why you should listen to me, I don't have a good reason for that. I probably know less about guns than you do. So this is actually kind of more of like a video blog that you can follow along with me as I learn more about guns, the different kinds of guns there are. You know, I'm pretty new to this myself. I've only really been carrying a gun for self-defense since I was, 21. Literally on my 21st birthday, I left work on my lunch break, and I drove down the street to a place called Lock and Load in Enterprise, Alabama, and I purchased my very first handgun. It was a Rock Island 9mm 1911 single stack, and again, I knew nothing about guns at the time. I know a lot more now, but back then I definitely didn't know anything. Okay. And I just asked the guy what would be a great first gun, and he pointed me towards this Rock Island 1911. I knew nothing about the company. I didn't know what a 1911 even was, and looking back now, I sure wish I still had that gun. I ended up trading it in for the Smith & Wesson 9mm Shield, which, by the way, is a great gun, even though they now have the Shield Plus, which is an amazing gun. But even today, the original 9mm Shield, it still holds up. Still holds up pretty well. But anyways, I'm going off down a rabbit trail. So I'm not going to say that I'm somebody that you should listen to, but just look at me as basically like a friend that is, journeying down on this path of exercising my Second Amendment right. And that's really what this is all about. Y'all, I am a American through and through. I am a huge supporter of the Second Amendment, And I think it is just absolutely paramount that as Americans we are exercising our Second Amendment rights. Okay. Um, I've got a lot of Democrats in my family, and they would say, why would you need a gun? You can always just rely on the police to protect you. I could go on for hours about how stupid of a thought that is. One of my favorite phrases is, when every second counts, the police are only minutes away. So, uh, you know, you need to be able to protect yourself, protect your family, especially when you're at home. You need to be able to defend yourself. So I'm just an American. I'm not a gun tuber per se. I'm not a ex what do you call it, an ex-military person. My dad's in the military, but or was until he retired about a decade ago. But nope, I was never in the military. I'm not a police officer. You might notice I am a security guard, but I'm not even technically an armed security guard. I'm a security guard that is armed. So, uh, I'm not somebody that's somebody you should be, putting all of your faith in as far as, education on firearms. I'm just going on a journey and I'm inviting you to go along with me. So, with all of that being said, actually, hold on just a second. Why is the Second Amendment so important as Americans? Guys, I know that not everybody's going to agree with this. This past election was so important. Whether or not you like Donald Trump, it really doesn't matter. He's not Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris has made it very clear that she is absolutely against gun ownership for private citizens. And she can say all she wants about, oh, I've got a Glock. But let's get real. I mean, just a few years ago, she was talking about how not only does she not want you to have guns, but she said that, if she's in charge, she is not against sending the government into your house to make sure that you are, storing your guns properly. And that's a whole nother issue when it comes to the proper storage of guns. But that's a whole other topic for another video. Why do we need to have our own guns? Why do we need to be defending ourselves? Even if we're not, serving in the military, or if we're not police officers, why does the regular average American citizen need to have a gun? That's a great question. Why does a bull, a male cow, why does a bull need horns? Why does a deer need antlers? Why does the rhinoceros, which is, I believe, a vegetarian, why does it have a horn? These are all creatures that don't hunt. So why do they have these incredibly dangerous features built into their heads? I believe there's a very important reason for that. You see, the bull has horns to tell the wolf or the coyote to get off my back. The same can be said for an American citizen. We might not have tanks or, rocket launchers or grenades or fully automatic M4s, but we can have one of these. We can have an AR-15, for as long as that's still legal. By the way, get yourself an AR-15 if you don't already have one. Do it while it's still legal. But anyways, the entire point of the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, it's to tell the government, stay off my back. So, no, we might not be allowed anymore to have the best firearms that are, in existence today. But think about it from a police officer's point of view. If you're going to go into somebody's house illegally, you're going to break into their house to, arrest them because, let's just say, maybe you have certain religious beliefs that no longer coincide with what the government wants you to believe. I know you think it's crazy, but stuff like that happens. It happens in places in the Middle East. It happens in places like China, first world country. You need to be able to defend yourself. You need to be able to tell the police officers to get off my back. So from the police officer's point of view, if you're going to be going into somebody's house to arrest them, you're not going to be nearly as quick to jump on that opportunity if you know that there is a chance, large or small, if you know that there's a chance that you might not be going home that night, it's going to give you a reason to have pause. So it's a very general example, but the point stands. You need to be able to defend yourself, especially inside your own house. So now, with all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this, basically a review of this Hellcat Pro from Springfield that I purchased just a couple weeks ago, and show you some of the things that I've learned about it, some of its main features, and why it's really starting to grow on me. I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm sure you've already noticed. Me not being a YouTuber or an influencer, I don't have all the influencer gear. I don't have special contraptions set up to hold my phone while I take you through almost ASMR style breakdown of a gun. But I'm going to do the best that I can, and I hope that you enjoy what you get. Alright, so let's do this. Alright guys, so here we have the Springfield Hellcat Pro. Now, the Hellcat Pro is a compact, high-capacity 9mm pistol known for its balance of size, performance, and capacity. And here are just a few of its main features. For one, you have its compact design, alright? So here it is beside my hand. Look at this. Alright. It's about, I'd say probably about an inch wide, but it has these double stack magazines, and look how many rounds you get in this thing. 17 plus one in the chamber. And guys, you better be having one in the chamber. I'm telling you, that's a whole nother debate, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But 17 rounds in that sucker. Also, hollow point rounds. It's a must-have, guys. Must-have. But not only is it 17 rounds, look how many of these came with the gun. You got one in the gun itself, and then 1, 2, 3 extra 17 round mags with the flush mount 15 round magazine as well. Alright, so compact design, capacity. The capacity really for its size and its class, it makes it excellent for personal defense. Number 3 is it is optics ready. It features a milled slide to accommodate red dots, which enhances your target acquisition. Now, this particular Hellcat Pro, it came equipped from the store with a Viridian. Let's see, this is a Viridian RFX green dot sight. Ooh, I need to clean that thing, but you can see down there. See, it's got the green dot down there. Green dots are great. It's great for people that, whether you have cataracts or, whatever makes a red dot have that starburst effect. I found that green dots really help with that. Now, the Viridian, I don't personally think it's as good as like my Holosun 507K red dot sight, but it does do good enough that I didn't just immediately replace the sight right after trying it out. Now, if you want to go without any kind of a red dot, that's fine, because the Hellcat Pro comes equipped with your typical Springfield U-dot sights, which feature a tritium front sight. Look at that thing. So it's got the tritium front sight and a tactical rear U-notch for faster and more accurate shooting. I mean, that U-notch, it might look a little bit ridiculous because it's just so different from pretty much every other gun on the market. But when it comes down to CQB, it's very easy to get that lined up. That sight radius is great. So ergonomics. See this the Hellcat Pro. It comes with what they call the the adaptive grip texture for a secure and comfortable hold. Now, what does that mean? Adaptive grip texture. If you look at this, and look at the stippling, it might not seem like much just looking at it, and when you rub your finger over it, and it does feel pretty grippy, if that's even a word. But yeah, it is grippy, but it still slides fairly comfortably. When you have this inside the waistband, it's going to rub up against your skin a little bit, but not nearly as bad as some of the other guns that I've done this with. But what makes it adaptive is the more pressure you put on the stippling, the more you can really feel each individual little pyramid down there. It's almost like it digs into your skin and really gives you an excellent grip. Alright. So what else? You got the reliability and performance. Now, Springfield Hellcats and also, of course, the Hellcat Pro, they're known for durability, for their low recoil, and the consistent performance. And that's really what makes it so popular among concealed carriers that are looking for a well-rounded firearm. So these features make the Hellcat Pro reliable and concealable. Just makes it a great option for self-defense and everyday carry. And of course, that's my unprofessional opinion. Alright, so this is editing Kevin from the future, where I completely forgot to explain why I specifically purchased my Hellcat Pro from Kaufman's Outdoors in Daleville. So, I'm not going to name any names, but there is another gun shop in the general area that I have gone to from time to time, and a couple weeks ago, I went in to purchase a gun. Well, not to purchase, but I just wanted to look around, And I was asking to hold certain guns, and whenever I would pick one up, I would, point it in a safe direction, and I would pull the trigger. Because one very important thing on a gun is, how the trigger feels. How much weight is on it. Is it going to be a 5-pound trigger, or is it going to be an 8-pound trigger? There's a very big difference, especially not just the weight itself, but how long of a trigger pull it's going to be. So before you buy a gun, it is super important that you dry fire it. You figure out how long of a trigger pull it's going to be. Where's the wall going to be? That point between, you pulling the trigger and the firing pin actually firing. You need to know where that's at. You need to know if that's going to be comfortable for you. You need to know if the weight of the trigger is going to be comfortable for you. Are you going to be able to shoot that accurately? So these are all things that you really need to test before you purchase the gun. And when I was at this other store, after doing this a couple of times with a couple of different pistols, the salesperson told me that I had to stop. He said, "You're not allowed to do that. That's not proper etiquette for, whenever you're in a gun store. You don't dry fire the company's guns." And I said, "Well, if you don't dry fire the gun, how are you going to know what the trigger feels like?" And basically his response was, "It doesn't matter. You don't dry fire the gun. it's not your gun, you don't dry fire it. It's not proper etiquette. Well, different gun companies or gun stores, I guess, have different etiquettes. But if you're not going to let me dry fire the gun, if you're not going to let me test the trigger before I spend anywhere from $500 to $2,000 on a gun, you're not even going to let me test that trigger out, you can bet your butt I'm going to be going to a different store, because once you leave the gun with that store, strike that, reverse it. Once you leave that store with that gun, the value of that gun, like a brand new car, it drops dramatically. And I'm going to be super upset if I leave and go home and fire that gun for the first time, pulling that trigger, realizing it's a terrible trigger. That was an acorn. Don't freak out. But anyways, yeah, if I get home and go to shoot that gun and that trigger sucks, I'm going to be super ticked. I'm going to want my money back. But you know what? I'm not even going to worry with it. If you're not going to let me test fire the gun by just dry firing, just pulling the trigger, I'm not going to be buying guns from your store. And that's why I purchased from Kaufman's Outdoors, because not only do they allow you to do that, but they actually encourage you to do that. They do not want you to leave the store and be surprised when you get home and try the gun out. They want you to know how that gun's going to feel when you pull the trigger. They want you to know how it feels. They want you to know how it feels whenever you, take the magazines and, eject them from the gun and put them back in. How simple that process is. And by the way, this other store, they don't even let you have the gun with a magazine in it. They remove the magazine before they hand the gun to you. Just red flags all around. That's not good practices for me. When it comes to buying a gun, I want to know what that trigger feels like. I want to know what it feels like when I rack the slide. I want to know how easy or not easy it is to change out the magazines. And if you're not going to give me that opportunity in the store, then I'm not going to be giving you my business. And that's that. So Kaufman's Outdoors in Daleville, Alabama, that's where I'm going to be buying all my guns for the foreseeable future. And I will leave information about that gun store in the description below. Alright guys, so that was my brief little introduction there to the Springfield Hellcat Pro. I do hope that you found that educational, if not just entertaining. So you might be wondering, why in the world is this noob making this kind of a video? And the idea actually came to me a couple days ago. You might not have seen it, but I posted a video of me shooting the Hellcat Pro just a couple days ago. So what happened is my dad is for like the past, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 days, I don't know, maybe the past couple weeks even, has been on vacation, and I've been trying to get him to come out and shoot with me for a couple months now. And for whatever reason, he's just not doing it. And so I thought I would take a short video of me shooting my new gun and send it to him as a way of saying, ha ha ha, look, you're missing out on all the fun. Meanwhile, he's out in, like, I don't know, Las Vegas. Not Las Vegas. No, I think he was actually in Hawaii whenever I did this. Anyways, it's just Hawaii. I mean, that's not nearly as cool as shooting a gun in the backyard. But anyways, so I thought I'd just shoot this short little video and send it to him and say, look, you're missing out. I'm having a great day. Well, after shooting the video and trying to send it to him, I realized that I had no apps that were capable of sending a video that, even though it was only like a minute and a half long, I just could not find a way of sending that video to him. So I decided to do something that I've done in the past, which is to just upload the video to YouTube and then just send him the link of that YouTube video. So I shot the video and I started the upload to YouTube, and oh my goodness, these videos, even these really short ones, they take forever to upload wirelessly. So I started the upload, and I just kind of passed out, fell asleep waiting for it to upload. So it was probably about 6 hours later when I woke back up and realized that the video had successfully uploaded. But whenever I went to go, watch the video back to see if it looked decent, I realized that for some reason it had over like 200 views, and I hadn't done any kind of advertising for it. I didn't make any kind of a thumbnail. And I don't know hardly anything about uploading YouTube videos, so I mean, it's not like I had, really pushed for people to see this. I honestly didn't think anybody other than my dad was going to see the video. So whenever I saw that it had over, 200 views, and that was completely unintentional, it made me realize that people are hungering for this kind of content. Whether that's for good or for bad, I don't know. Apparently, people are just very interested in firearms, and that might be a bad thing. I don't know, but I would like to give the entire situation the benefit of the doubt, because I think it's important to capitalize on stuff like this. If it's an important or an interesting enough topic that people are seeking videos out like this that are made by people that have no clue what they're doing, I could really use this as an opportunity to push my message of, getting America as a whole to embrace that Second Amendment right. The more of us that really, take advantage of that, the more of us that are, that are getting firearms and are practicing with them, learning the responsibilities and the duties that come along with being, a legal gun carrier, the safer I think our nation will be. And I know that might sound counterintuitive. You would think that the more people that own guns, the more accidents that will happen and the more innocent people that will be injured. But I believe that if we are responsible, if we're always talking about gun safety, if you're practicing all of the gun safety rules, there's no reason for accidents to happen. In the gun safety rules that I tell people about the most, know your target and what's behind it. So don't just go shooting at random stuff. I mean, you need to be aware of your surroundings. So know your target and what's behind it. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. That is crucial. This gun right here, even though I know for a fact it is unloaded, this is an empty magazine, even though I know there is no round in that chamber. Well, you probably can't see, but I promise it's empty. But even knowing all of that, you know what you won't see me do? You will not see me point it at my head and pull the trigger just to prove that I know it's empty. Because if anybody's going to lose their head over something like that, it's going to be this guy, okay? So treat every gun as if it's loaded. No stupid mistakes. Come on. So know your target and what's behind it. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. Never point your gun at something you're not willing to kill. And let's see, what's that fourth one. Keep your dang finger off the trigger unless you are ready to shoot. You never put your finger on the trigger unless you are willing to shoot whatever your gun is pointing at. I mean, it's just so simple. But you follow these gun safety rules, and you're not going to have deadly accidents. So I think if we get information like that out to people, man, we could have a much safer nation. Okay, if you're a law-abiding citizen, you've got to get a gun. You've got to learn how to shoot it. You've got to be comfortable holding it. Because here's the thing, whether or not you have a gun, criminals are going to have guns. If they outlaw guns in the future, God forbid, that's not going to stop criminals from owning guns and using them against you. We need to level the playing field. We need to make America safe again. And the best way I believe to do that is to make sure that all of you law-abiding citizens are carrying and being safe and learning how to shoot that gun, learning to be comfortable and confident with it. And I believe that that's going to be the best way for us to have a safe and free country. But anyways, like I said, I'm not a professional gun tuber. I'm not a professional shooter. I don't do competitions or anything like that. I'm not a police officer. I'm not ex-military. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy with a gun. All right. So take my advice or leave it. But whatever you do, get a gun. Learn to use it. All right. Hope y'all have a great day, and I think that'll be just about it.